Yo, what's going on? It's your man Y.Lii, the Southern kid with the city swag.
And I'm Terzel. Ron, we got a lot of hot topics for you guys today.
On this week's episode of In the Mix. All right, here we go. Round number 9. Let's go ahead and talk about MX news in a flash. Go ahead, man.
In a flash, and to top it off, we have Future, who has another #1 album. Again, that is his 7th #1 album, so big shout out to Future. That is for the project High Off Life, and that was a really good album, so big shout out to Future.
Oh yeah, big shouts out to Future. Other rappers that are making moves this week, as you know, coronavirus has still had its effects on the communities. Let's talk about Cash Money. Yes, the men of Cash Money have gone back to New Orleans, baby. They've donated a lot of money and given rent relief to those who live in their hometown.
That's great to hear, and it's always great to hear about people giving back to their hometown.
Oh, yeah.
One person who does that a lot is Big Sean. Now, Big Sean has announced that Welcome to Detroit 2 is soon to be hitting the streets, and that's gonna be a great album from Big Sean. We've been waiting for him for a minute now.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely good to hear from him every single time. So,
and while we're in the spirit of cheerful giving, let's talk about Panda. Yeah, that's right, Desiigner, man.
Desiigner.
One thing y'all may not have known is this man owns 7 properties, and for each of his properties, he's actually provided rent relief for all of his tenants. All of them right now during COVID-19.
That's amazing, man. Also, 6LACK has announced that he will be dropping a new project soon. 6LACK, aka Black, he's one of the best singers out right now. I mean, Switch is a hit, so many hits to top it off, and I look forward to that 100%. So shout out to him.
Shout out to that. Let's talk about a happy belated birthday. Yo Gotti, man, listen, This week he was caught buying $1.3 million. $1.3 million worth of gifts for himself for his birthday, man.
Treat yourself.
Hey, ain't no love like self-love.
You gotta treat yourself. Get Top on the phone. Top Dog CEO Top Dog has confirmed that Kendrick Lamar will be dropping a new project soon. Kendrick, if you listening to this right now, where you at, man? We need you for this year. 2020 is a terrible year. We need you ASAP. Come back.
Come back, Kendrick. We waiting on a new thing. Speaking of new things, let's talk about Lil Yachty. He got rid of the red. Man, a lot of people are thinking that it was more of a spiritual or deeper meaning. Lil Yachty got on Instagram, he just said, it's not that deep, man. It really ain't that deep. He's just over the red hair.
Yeah,
that's that.
It's been a couple years, you know, it's time for a new look. But speaking of things that are not expected, monkeys have stolen a coronavirus blood sample. This is facts. This really happened in Jaipur, India, and monkeys have stolen coronavirus blood and ran into the trees and started biting on the tube with the blood. So, is there another coronavirus outbreak that's gonna happen soon? I don't know, but there's over 150,000 cases in India, so that's definitely not good news right now.
Yikes. Well, speaking of not good news, Coachella is officially postponed until 2021. Sorry, Meg. I know you was looking forward to Hot Girl Chella. I think that's what she was calling it. She was like, oh no, Hot Girl Chella better not get canceled. But baby girl, it's a done deal. We're gonna have to catch you next fall. And that's all we got for MX News in a flash.
Coming up next on In the Mix, we have In the Ring, which is our segment on celebrity beefs and drama. To start off, we have
Fred Hammond versus Kirk Franklin with a special prayer in the beginning by T.D. Jakes.
Bishop T.D. Jakes, we need that healing. This is because, obviously, in light of recent events in the media and in news, and you know, with the situation of black men dying at the hands of police officers, we need a healing. It's time to take a step back from the fun of the versus battles and, you know, incorporate some of that, but also get some really serious, you know, healing, because our community needs it right now.
No crying, no dying, politicians lying. Everybody's trying to make a dollar. It makes you want to holler. The way to do my life, the way to do my life. There's gonna be a brighter day. All your troubles will pass away. Revolution's coming, yes it's coming. Revolution's coming, yes it's coming. Revolution's coming. How relevant Man.
So relevant,
Kirk Franklin's been on to what's going on. Listen.
I can't wait for that one.
I can't wait for that battle. I think it's going to be a very good one, and it's going to be very healing and soothing for us all.
And on a lesser important note, it's Doja Cat versus everybody. Doja Cat, man, there could not have been a worse time for her allegations to come out, or should I say revelations, because she is proven to have had these racist messages in chat rooms with white supremacists. I can't even believe I have to say that, but you know, it's Doja Cat versus everybody, so.
It's just a bad time. It's a very bad time. Not only did it come right as soon as Doja got that #1, but also in between the murder of 2 black men.
It's insane.
Wow. Doja Cat, I can't even say my prayers go out to you, girl, but I hope you learned your lesson. All right, so we want to just take a moment and talk about pressing issues that are going on right now on our turf, and that is America. Let's talk about the only hashtag that matters right now, Black Lives Matter.
The only hashtag that matters for sure, because RIP to George Floyd, he was killed, brutally murdered in broad daylight and on camera by a police officer. And you know, it's just a situation that we keep on hearing year after year after year, and we think things are gonna change, like they have to, but they don't. And we're just back in the same situation years later. So RIP to him. You know, it's just a terrible situation.
It's
man.
a very terrible situation. I'm tired of going through it. I know a lot of us over time and over the years have actually been desensitized. The one that affected me the most, I would say, is Trayvon Martin. Yes. I actually remember going to march when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, like going to march for Trayvon.
Yeah.
Those were one of the very first protests that I actually had ever participated in my entire life. Of course, we were brought up in school that this was, you know, over, so to speak. The civil rights movement had happened, you know, but still here we are fighting for just the right to live. So I just wanted to especially say my heart goes out to every black man and the stress and the trauma that is being caused to us just from viewing these images, the stress and the trauma that we might not even realize happening from day to day. But there were a lot of people who had things to say.
Yes, there's a lot of celebrities who spoke up about this matter. T.I., you know, Jeezy, Nick Cannon was at the protests in Minneapolis. You know, there's a lot of allies in this situation. I also, speaking of allies, want to give a special shout out to black women who are the only people who actually understand what we go through. So big shout out to them, because sometimes they get excluded from this conversation.
Yeah, and speaking of black women, let's talk about Beyonce. She took no time. Usually we expect a post or some type of graphic, but Beyonce actually made a video urging everyone to please sign the petition, because what Beyonce stands is she believes that all of the men involved with George Floyd should be charged with murder.
Absolutely. And they were all fired, but we need that extra step for them to be charged and sentenced for murder.
Yeah, and there was only one specific charge, correct? That was manslaughter and third degree murder. Okay, so third degree murder. It's just, you know, Will Smith also said, you know, racism isn't something new. It's just actually being filmed. Yeah. Speaking of things we've seen filmed, this week on social media, there was a video that surfaced of another young black man who wasn't shot, but the policemen had, you know, pulled up on him with their guns drawn out for no reason at all. The man was not armed. There were people in the neighborhood out there, and his grandmother came out the house and she stood over top of him. She stood there to protect him, and then the policemen kind of rushed in, and they always have their way of doing their methods.
Oh yeah, but they think it's necessary.
It was very unnecessary, and that's one of probably hundreds of videos that are just out there on social media. So I just want to know from you personally, because there's a lot of arguments right now talking about, do we think rioting is actually going to help?
You know what? That's a conversation that goes all the way back from Malcolm and Martin to even before that, Marcus Garvey, and you know, it's a conversation that unfortunately we still have to have. Back in the day, it was peaceful protest. That was the way to go, and that was the way people went about things. Martin Luther King was very opposed to Malcolm X's principles of, you know, sometimes you have to get violent, sometimes you have to get your hands dirty. This is a new day and age. We've done the peaceful protesting, and I mean, a couple of weeks ago, people were rioting because they couldn't go outside without a mask, and they were locked up in the house, and those were majority white people. You saw Donald Trump had that tweet supporting them, saying, you know, these are good people, they just want to go outside, leave them alone. Next thing you know, a black man gets murdered on camera. Donald Trump tweets the same thing, except it's a different opinion. He's saying that these are thugs, these people need to be locked up, and it's just a completely different opinion. I don't know if the peaceful thing will work anymore, man.
I'm not sure if it's going to work, and if it will work, it only works for specific situations. But going back to Donald Trump and his, Twitter fingers, Twitter actually blocked one of his posts.
Yeah.
He said when the looting starts, the shooting starts. I don't think we need to even clear it up for y'all. I think it's self-explanatory what we all know he meant behind that tweet. I just once again want to just say to every black man out there in America, stay strong. Hopefully and eventually we will get through this regardless if we choose to peaceful protest or not.
A quick mention on that Twitter tweet that Trump made. He was quick to sign an executive order against social media after Twitter went that extra mile on that one tweet. But he was not quick to do other certain things like, I don't know, coronavirus, which is threatening the lives of millions of black people across the globe, majority black people across the globe.
I mean, regardless if it's coronavirus or racism, we still can't breathe.
The only thing that people seem to understand in this country is financial spending and the value of the dollar. And one thing that is very important to note is the value of the black dollar. T.I. has called for a national blackout on July 7th, 2020. And this is a day that we just don't spend any money. If we just don't spend any money and we show people that our dollar matters and our lives matter, maybe they could understand that, these big companies, they need to support us and back us on these causes that we have been fighting for centuries. Centuries
upon centuries. That's all we got for the Black Lives Matter segment for this week's episode of In the Mix. All right, let's talk about brand new music. This is our segment, Fresh Off the Press.
And to start it off, we have Juice WRLD and Trippy Red, who have a new song, Tell Me You Love Me. Now, Juice WRLD has unfortunately passed away last year, but this is a posthumous release for him. So it's definitely great to see new music from Juice WRLD. And Trippy Red also always brings it, he has a really interesting vocal range. Like he does a lot of that in his music. He doesn't sing normally. So it was a very good song and very good video. So shout out to them.
And speaking of posthumous releases, let's talk about Pop Smoke. We've mentioned it before on the show. I wanted to bring it up one more time because also his brother, Obasi Jackson, has a brand new track called Work, which will be available very soon. This song is very similar to one that we saw produced by Diddy after the passing of Notorious B.I.G. So Obasi, the older brother of Pop Smoke, he is planning to release this single and visual that will include the friends and very close family of the legendary rapper on the rise, Pop Smoke.
And Young Dolph and Megan Thee Stallion have a new song together. This is called R&B. A few weeks ago, Young Dolph posted on Instagram that he was done with music and taking a break to take care of his son. And then he went back and posted on Instagram a few weeks later after that his son would disown him if he wasn't making music. So it's definitely good to see Young Dolph back at it again. He is one of my favorite street rappers. And of course, Megan Thee Stallion is on top of her game. So shout out to them.
Shout out to that, definitely. Let's move on and talk about Lil Yachty. He has now released, Lil Boat 3, the last installment of his trilogy. Looking forward to seeing all of the new moves that Lil Yachty is making in the year of 2020.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of moves, Travis Scott is always on the move. Yes, The Highest in the Room has a new track with Rosalia, and this is called Taken. And this is a great track. Travis Scott is just, I think he's one of the biggest artists in the world right now. Rosalia is one of the biggest Spanish artists in the world right now, so it only makes sense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all we got for MiX Fresh Off the Press. All right, before we get out of here, let's go ahead and talk about our top 5 rappers. We mentioned it. Top five. All right, I'm gonna let the youngin' go first.
Okay, all right. Now keep in mind, I'm 23, so I missed a lot of the heyday of the 90s, so it might be, leaving out some 90s rappers, but I gotta go with number 1, Jay-Z, of course.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm gonna say Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Number 3, I gotta go with Nas. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Eminem. And number 5, I gotta say, man, you see, that number 5 spot is a tough one because that's when you think about all the names and you just got so many people, but You know, number 5, I gotta go with Lil Wayne.
All right, okay. My top 5, I don't want to give it no specific, well, I got to, it's top 5. All right, cool. I'm gonna start backwards. So, number 5, I'm gonna give that one to J. Cole, all right?
Okay, Cold World.
All right, number 4, I'm gonna give it to, oh God,
It's
number
tough.
4,
It's
that's
really
tough,
It's
y'all,
really
this joint is tough. Number 4, I'm gonna give it to Big Sean, yeah. Number 3, I'm gonna give it to Lil Wayne. Number 2, I'm going to say Jay-Z. And number 1, Tupac. That's my top 5.
That's it, top 5, dead or alive.
Top 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for episode 9 of In the Mix.
Yes, sir. We got a lot coming for the season finale. A little trip down memory lane. Make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram,
Yes,
Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button at Music Exclusives.
And remember, we're always a click away at musicexclusives.com. I'm Terzel Ron.
And I'm Y.Lii, the Southern Kid with the City Swag.
Peace.
Peace out.